Well, I'm not going to lie. That feels so much better than how we felt the last two games. I just give our kids so much credit for how they have bounced back and been resilient, but we had no doubt that they would. There's something, when you go through some rough patches, I think you find out what you're made of. And, I think we found out today that we're capable of a whole lot. And my hope for this group is that they can see themselves in this game today and know that they can come out and perform like this every night. It helps when your shots go down, and they certainly did. But the game started, from the beginning where we just asked them to be physical. We asked them to stay connected. We asked them to be aggressive. Offensively, we wanted to play in space. We wanted to play faster today. I thought Shea did a great job of getting us going early, which, again, just created energy for us. And it looked like that, when your shots go down, and it's typical for a lot of teams, it does do something for your defense. But just, so happy for all of those kids that have been, disappointed for sure in how we have underperformed, but knew that it was certainly going to be in us. Shea was great, Yarden, all of them were great offensively. Chloe, when Chloe shoots the balls the way she does or did today, and she's aggressive like that, we look like a whole different basketball team. I think we can all agree with that. My MVP tonight from the defensive side of the ball is Jules. Thought she came in and did a great job on number 3. Just giving her some resistance. She took a big charge down in the second half. And so we knew it was going to take a bunch of us, a bunch of pieces. This is a team that averages right around 15 threes. They only gave up 2 tonight. Certainly they got to miss shots, but you got to be in their space. I thought we did a great job of that. So really happy, with how we came out and did our job. Followed the scouting report and executed it.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, Stanford came into this one with the best three-point percentage in the country, 51. You held them to 18. Just
right.
How would you assess the defensive performance on the perimeter?
Really good. We wanted to be physical with them. Stanford is a very skilled team, and we wanted them to feel us without fouling, but we wanted them to feel our presence. And how tight we were going to be when they were coming off staggers in their split action, when they wanted a face cut, and we were there to stand them up. And so that was part of our plan, was just to be the more physical team. And our kids delivered on that.
Teri, did you have any discussions with Chloe between Wednesday and now? And what did you kind of sense within her in terms of picking up on some of the things that she needed to do better?
Well, so after the Butler trip, we came back. It was supposed to be a day off, and we came in. I had them all. We just watched the game. Chloe was unable to be there, but then she came back and she watched the game with AP, and I think it was good for all of us. We get the lead there, and when you need to build on the lead, we made some really bad choices, bad decisions offensively, which led to them getting back in the game. And so there were a lot of great teaching moments, I thought, in that game. Chloe got to see herself, and she's the first one to tell you that she has not played very well. She's played in too many big games, and she knows that, she has not played her best. But, she's, as I always say, she's as tough as a $6 steak. And it's just a matter of time before, she saw herself, and then she responded. And so it's not lost on her, Todd, at all. She knows that she's the leader of this team, and we really depend on her. And when she plays like, she did tonight, which was aggressive on both ends, we have a chance.
Yeah, Chloe and Yarden both talked about using last year's Stanford game as motivation. So from Butler to now, I guess, what was that process like of trying to motivate them?
Well, I don't know that, you're talking about a team that is, for the last 7+ years is used to winning, one of the top programs in the country. None of this has felt felt good. But the one thing that I continue to say is, as long as you have players that are in that locker room that want to fix it, it matters to them, you have a chance. And, maybe that was part of the motivation. We got a lot of great shots last year at Stanford. They just didn't go down. But they beat us pretty good, and we learned a lot from that. But maybe served as a little motivation. But I think, here in the last couple of weeks, when we've come up short against a Harvard team and a Butler team, we were pretty committed to trying to get back on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about, obviously, breaking losing slide and just how bad it felt the last couple of weeks. Just at what point could you tell today was going to be different than the last few times you came out here?
We've had, but I'll say this before, I feel like we've had, I feel like you can always get a good sense when you're in practice. And, I thought, again, the day that we spent just watching film, there's a lot of conversation that goes on in that film room. And then the next day in terms of how they showed up, and then Saturday in terms of how they showed up, they put together 2 really good practices back to back. And so I felt good that they felt good about the scouting report, but they also knew what they had to do in order to win the game. And I knew this, they've been a little ticked off. It's never a bad thing to play a little mad. And, I think that they came out and, played with a little bent-up anger, which was good.
Was there anything you saw early in the game that kind of made you realize, okay, we're back to ourselves now?
Well, I mean, it didn't feel like it the way they shot it this first, they hit, their first 4 or 5 shots. And, but we know that this is a really good Stanford team. We have so much respect for them. But just the way we battled back, and stuck a few of those early threes, it makes you feel really good just to see those things go down. And I kept telling them right before the game, all those shots are going to go. They're going to go down. You just got to believe it. And if you miss, you got to come back and take the next one. And so, it was great to see, especially those threes, those long balls go in for them tonight.
Quarter, you were kind of visibly telling your team to push the ball up the court a lot.
Yep.
What was your reasoning for just wanting to run more in today's game?
I just feel like we're better when we play faster. We play in more space. We made a couple tweaks and just, took Chloe off the ball, put the ball in Shay's hand, and really just, again, setting her a bunch of step-up screens and early drags, and wanted her to probe underneath the rim and just, try to find openings, people on the outside. And I just think it made us more aggressive. And so, and they like playing like that too. I'm probably the one that probably has to take the hardest look at me in terms of the first 3 games and not allowing them to play a little bit more with freedom and space. And so I learned a hard lesson, but I'm glad that, it's early where we can make a few changes and tinker with a few things. And tonight it worked out for us.
I mean, you've said you've been kind of throughout this pretty happy with how they've practiced, and like the results have been fairly wild, some wild swings here. I mean, do you hope that that they won't be so hard to predict and find that consistency? Is that hard for a coach, especially when you have a new look roster?
Yeah, I think everybody has to be really careful. This is, we're in a different. There's an adjustment period when you lose a kid like Mackenzie Holmes. There is. You can look on paper and go, yeah, but you still have Chloe and Sid and Yarden, 3 starters. But, when a kid like that, she takes up so much attention, right? And because she took up so much attention, it was, it opened up so much for us on the outside. It takes an adjustment, you know, and a different way of learning how to play with each other and playing off of each other. And, you know, we're still learning how to do that. You know, Shay's new. She's new to our program, as Strip is new to our program. And so, yeah, I just think there's going to be, it's not going to be a straight line. I think it's going to be, you know, there's going to be some twists and turns throughout, but we just got to stay steadfast to what we do, and that's stay together and, you know, guard hard and try to get the best shot for us, you know, with the 5 that are out there on the floor. But, you know, what we have to continue to do, and this is it, and this is the other thing too, is making sure that we as a staff, we realize that, you know, it's easy for you guys to say and look and suggest and all that. And I know that that's your jobs, but my job is to lead these guys. And my job is to make sure that we're pouring into these guys and making sure that they continue to have confidence and remind them that, yes, we got some really great pieces, but, you know, it's going to take some time. And so I hope that this helps a little bit, you know. I don't know that winning cures everything, but winning feels good. And so, you know, maybe this is sort of the step that we needed, or like today with such a great Stanford team, that, you know, it can springboard us into continuing to get a little bit better, you know, play better basketball.
You guys started 1 for 5 from the field to start out the second half, but then finished 5 of 7, including Yarden's back-to-back threes. How important was it to flip that switch in the middle of the third quarter to kind of keep Stanford away and keep the crowd into it?
Right. No, it was, you know, but we've seen Yarden hit so many big shots for us. And so, you know, that wasn't, you know, surprising. But again, it's just reminding them that all of those are going to go on in, you know. We're going to continue to hit shots. We got to continue to be aggressive and, you know, try to put our teammates in the best possible situation to get great shots. But Yarden, those back-to-back, those are 2 big-time shots by a big-time player.
Hey, Teri, how are Lexie and Lene progressing, and how close are they to returning?
Bo not progressing as well. But Lexie is, she should be back in practice this week. And hopefully she'll get a few minutes. I don't know how many minutes, but she'll get some minutes, hopefully down in the Bahamas with us. But she's progressed very, very well. It's still a game time decision on Bo in terms of what is next for her. Yep, thank you guys.